was fast. I didn't even do a
no
normal
warning.
count. I know, it was like no countdown. It was just like, all right, and we're here.
So this one time on the internet.
One time on the internet, here we are. Okay, this is not really related, but also related. To some of you who were watching my socials this weekend, I went to a Comic-Con up in Austin, and there was one individual that's a friend of mine from there that she likes to dress as a Twi'lek, and she lives in Houston with her husband. And she told me, she goes, I was like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long because it's been like a year since I saw her last. She goes, actually, I see you all the time because I watch you guys' streams. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah. She's like, whenever I get the notification that like Aaron's, she's like, I try and stop everything and at least come in and like hang out for a couple minutes. And I was like, so I always get to see your face. And I was like,
Oh, she said stalking.
So I don't know. I told her, I was like, well, the next time you're in there, you have to tell me that you're there. I have no idea otherwise. She goes, okay, I'll tell you. I love
Hello, Aaron. I'm watching.
Monique and Sergio, they are the most amazing couple. They are goals. I love them. Love them, love them. Okay, well, we're here. We have made it.
We're queer.
I have enlarged the players a little bit, so now you guys are a little larger on the screen. That way we can
that
fit.
Makes us larger than life.
I mean, close. You know, well, no, I'm going to start going the other direction. It's like earlier when I was eating dinner, I started watching the last Trolls movie that came out last year. Hadn't seen it yet. Basically, it's like a big NSYNC fest.
The kids have
world
already
tour.
watched that like 5 times this weekend.
The music's so good. I loved it. Anyway, so hearing the Backstreet Boys, because they did a whole like, we're not in sync. We are 98 degrees from. They dropped
like 6 boy bands.
Yes, boy bands in a sentence, and I was like, bravo. The only pun that was a pun worthy of the name. Yeah, so this is the last stream that we're gonna have in this apartment. This is wild just to think about. I'll be in a new place. The next time you see me, I'll be in a new abode. So,
but because of that,
for all we know, we don't actually know that that's the case.
Doing myth next Tuesday.
Correct.
However,
Yes. A delicious however.
About that.
Originally, we were scheduled to play tomorrow for Vampire, but and I had cleared this with him ahead of time. Our lovely Martel, friend of the show, and one of the people going to be in the Vampire game, is getting some non-emergency surgery today, so that was going to be a bit difficult for him to be on camera tomorrow.
I mean, you sure you don't want him on a bunch of painkillers?
Nah, he's fine. He's fine. We've played Crusader Kings when he's been on something. It's fine. It's like being on stream with Galil when he's had a gummy.
Oh my god.
And eating cake in the corner.
Yep. Just piles of sheet cake. Now, however, we wish him well. We know he's doing well. But in the meantime, our good friend and also co-star, Kitty Crafto, has lovingly pieced together something. So for those of you not paying attention to the stream, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your life this way? Go correct that right now. Go turn it on. Turn the volume up.
Mm-hmm.
Give you 5
seconds.
4. 3.
Oh no, commercial.
You know, this guy.
That's
I
commercial.
warned you.
Okay, it's there.
All right, let's go.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Holy shit. Oh no.
Top tier comment.
For real. All
So
right.
hopefully that gives some of the tone of what we're going to be running into next week.
Heck yeah. Heckin'
Enjoy.
yeah. Excuse me. All right. Well, I got the hiccups now. All right. Well, that was dope. So look forward to seeing that next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
During your week off.
same time? 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Same spooky time, same spooky place.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine and no crimes will be committed. Both real or imaginary.
Did you not look at that video?
There were so many crimes.
All I saw was a
I feel
really
like
strange
we all need to report that video.
All I saw was a strange use of a rose, and that was about the extent of the crimes that I saw. Someone spilled some Kool-Aid in a water thing, and yeah.
The rest is all very normal.
That was all very normal stuff. Like someone was like, "Oh, I gotta get out of my costume," and they like did the zipper
Could you
thing. And
unzip
I don't
Texas really is a different world, isn't it?
I was like, "Oh, this seems rather normal to me." Someone had some dirty fingers, and they were just like laying on the ground and thinking about life, which that was the mood, you know. So
Aaron's humming that song when he's walking down a dark hallway.
actually, that was me in the heels. Those doing the walk in the thing. Yeah.
I've seen those drumsticks. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Anyhow, then. All right. Oh, that was exciting. All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode of Age of Myth.
End of the Golden Age. Following these young people has been the right choice for me, since I wish to see the workings of history. Though, at times, it does seem to wear on my aged spine a bit. I have been traveling with these, as they call themselves, Orphics, for some time. We have moved along the coast of Sparta, searching for something that they seek, though I have a hard time keeping track of all of these stories and names they whirl about. We find ourselves in Kaipantha, in the sanctuary or business abode of one who claims to be Hecate, a goddess of secrets and gateways. Yet somehow she deals in honey? Truly, these are workings of far more mysterious beings than I had thought originally. I wonder how truly long I will last in their company. I have already seen my fair share of violence before this. But now we deal with monsters. The sun has grown dark, and the night darker still. I will have to make sure that I keep my journals. Something tells me I don't want to forget anything.
The beaming light that surrounds the misto, swirling, moving like liquid, yet not liquid. It dances around like flame, twisting and dancing. Your mind smiles briefly, thinking of a dancer. This flickering energy pulses with each tone and timbre of the voice that speaks to you. Daughter of the scales and mystery of the mere universe. I sense the turbulence of your mind. How can I put you at ease?
Themisto, do I have like a physical form in this dream space?
I don't know, do you?
I think I look about at these dancing lights and hear this voice that I recognize and notice myself too in that sort of void space that I encountered Gaia before. And Themisto, after acknowledging her own presence, then kneels, although she was told not to the first time, and responds, Mother Gaia, steady as Parnassus, calm as mountain tea, encompassing as the green of the trees and the grasses all over all the hills of the Hyena beyond. It seems I have indeed opened our connection again. And yes, thoughts race around in my mind like clay on a potter's wheel, and yet there is no amphora to show for it. I do need your wisdom if you allow it for me, but it is for myself and not for the people. Is that alright?
I would believe so.
Oh, daughter, so far away. You must realize that
There are things that I am not familiar with your world. It has been 1,000 years since I have seen it last.
The energy that speaks and dances as with each voice solidifies into a being of light that then becomes physically manifest almost in reflection of your own. A woman who looks to be older in years, the wrinkles around her eyes were before the scales began to set in. A shimmer of gold below the eyebrows. Her own snake hair currently back and calmed. They don't wriggle and writhe. They almost seem asleep and only move when she moves her head. Almost as if she too were underwater. She stands taller than you, but not in a giant kind of way, and she reaches down as you look up to pull you to your feet.
A 1,000 years. It is a hard thing for someone as young as me to fathom. You, in the stories at that temple, it is where the Pythia gets her power from you and then eventually from Apollo. I am sure you know this. But I find myself, because of a meeting nudged along by Apollo himself, and my actions since, I'm in these moments of darkness our world now faces, still often feeling as light and as happy as a quail in a forest glade, flitting among the morning dew and early rays. Yet, as I look forward, as I have studied to do, I see either heartbreak for me or woe for my position. When we last met, I gave an oath to you that I would serve as your Pythia, to fulfill what I have been trained and given prayer over my whole life to become. A bridge between the old ways and the new. A Pythia for you and for Apollo, as there has never been. And to provide wisdom to all seekers should they accept it. It's a path given to me by my scales. There are not but one of us around in the world as I know it. That is me. But it is a path that is affirmed in my choices along the way. And my desire for this remains true. I tell you all this now because I am torn. I was always going to be an agent of change by the nature of my being, yes. My very person is like a dye to the cloth of our religion, no matter what I would wish. But if I cling tight to this love I have found in addition, to find my own way, the Pythia is an honor to you and to Apollo, and out of safety, does not take a partner. Is it a rejection of Apollo's hermitage, his penitence for his act toward your son Python? Themisto hesitates a moment as she brings this up. She's seen glimpses of it and how much it hurt Gaia for Python to die at the hands of Apollo during the fall. Does it dishonor the pain you have both suffered? Will the people accept that when asked to sacrifice his own Bethia have before me that I break with tradition to be a palm upon my own heart? I feel selfish wanting this, and I feel selfish in having Phoebe by my side now, if I must hurt her in the end. And honestly, even for thinking such things as the world darkens, there is no need for a Bethia if my companions and I fail in what we are doing now. So, and now you know.
You've what?
Themisto looks away a little.
Had you been looking at watching her or making general eye contact as you were talking to her?
Yes. And even as she looks away, her snakes can't help but look, so she'll get a sense of it anyway.
You have watched her face shift and move with the telling of your story, and she's trying to understand. When you bring up Python, the sorrow is palpable. You can see her eyes brim with tears. And then she continues to listen to your story. You can hear the beating of your own heart with that of another. Perhaps it is hers. But it's almost as if you're hearing a heartbeat in stereo, because you can hear them like off beat by just a little bit, but then they kind of sync. And you see that her sadness continues. There is much that I do not understand. There's much that I wish I could see. How the world has changed so. You use terms that I am unfamiliar with, but somehow I know them. There must be a way that I, so far away, that you can show me everything. Would you allow this?
It is my duty to be the eyes of the gods. Of course I would do this.
What I ask is not a simple thing. You will be reliving everything in an instant. The emotions can be overwhelming. You have had a lifetime to navigate these waters. I will not make you live them again. But the emotion behind them may rise to the surface.
Themisto takes a deep breath. Pauses at the top of it before releasing. And then she straightens herself up My life has been a hard one, but it is also one of love and beautiful moments, and learning and seeing many good things. So, if I must live it again, then I do so, knowing that I do not regret anything I have done. Or, well. I am ready for this, is what I am trying to say. And a preemptive tear rolls down the mister's face.
There's a hesitation to her. And she goes down to both knees and gestures for you to grab onto her hands as she pulls you down so that you may face each other.
Mister does so.
She clasps your hand, and for one of the first times you feel the sensation of warmth. And comfort. She leans forward and closes her eyes. And then the rush of sensation floods your body. Everything, every memory, both known and forgotten, simultaneously all at once, yet somehow in sequence, runs through your body. It is like a torrent from the highest mountains after the deepest of rains, washing away everything, tearing away everything, opening yourself in such a way that you had forgotten the pain, you'd forgotten the joy, every single little sensation. In a flash, whoosh, your childhood, the bullies, the stones, the friendship, the comfort, the tears, the knowledge, the doubt, the dreams, the desire, the hope, the fear, the longing. And it stretches and stretches, and it goes year after year, day after day, in the blink of an eye. You cannot breathe. You open your mouth to try and scream or exhale, and nothing comes out. It is as if your very breath has been taken from you. And you go from childhood to teenage years, the discovery of your gifts, and then suddenly everything within the last few weeks, all of the knowledge that has come from it, every little instant, every little moment, all of it there. And then it is gone. And you find yourself back where you are now. And the release is almost akin to the most heart-wrenching sob as suddenly you have air fill your lungs again. And then your brain is like... it's almost to the point of almost being like in pain with like a migraine, but that is not pain, it's it's over sensationed. What is that? There's another word for that. But so many emotions that you have felt at once that you feel both exhausted and hurting.
Yeah, do you know that feeling where you're just like so totally spent by the weight of it all that you're both like crying and laughing simultaneously?
Very much.
Because what else is there to do?
Right.
Um, and that just takes over, I suppose.
She holds your face. And you can see her tears. What has become of the world? I have... She pulls away. My children. My people. I have no idea. You have all suffered so great. And yet, somehow, you have overcome so much and risen from nothing. How? Blessed Zeus, stubborn fool. I understand what you mean now. I understand probably more than most. She grabs your chin in her hand and cups it. Daughter, do not allow yourself to suffer. You are wise beyond your years, and you are wiser than any other creature on this planet now. So far that I have seen. You wish not to break yourself or that of your love. But some of these things cannot be helped. You must do the best that you can. I understand why this rule is in place. But don't think for a second that it is something that I would want for you. I want you to be happy. Just as I was happy with my love. I was able to guide millions to safe harbor for a time. You can guide these people and still love who you wish. But it must be with the knowledge that it is your responsibility to make the choice, the right choices, for the right reasons, for their well-being and yours. And it will not be easy. That is just the way of it. There will be those who will try and claim you are being unfair or unjust, that your decisions are being swayed by the one that you love, but it will be your responsibility to prove them otherwise. Just as it would be your responsibility to realize if they are right or not. Do you understand?
As Gaia was talking to her, Themisto will have dropped her decorum and have reached out to hug her like a daughter would hug her mom. And listen to all of this, take it in, and with a sniff and the like okay sort of attitude,
Yeah.
she will look back at Gaia and thank you. I will try to do what's best.
I know you will. And I'm striving to find a way to reconnect our worlds. But I fear that beyond the space between a rift is grown so vast, it may be some time before we are able to see each other.
It may not be safe, as you have seen. If you are there, if there are more of us, I don't want to risk their lives.
There are so many of us. Beyond just our kind, so many have survived here. We have had 1,000 years of life. And you have had 1,000 years of suffering. I am so sorry, daughter.
There is beauty here too.
I have seen. I have seen.
Lord Hades,
That fool.
he remembers you when he looks at me.
We worked on a few projects together. It seems like another time. And also just yesterday. You have done the impossible to have survived for as you have in the face of what you have. And still you fight. You fight the fight that we should all have fought together. If I could but find you again.
We will put the pieces back together.
We will.
Lady, I have another question for you, if you would, Gaia.
Of course.
This one is not so much for me, but for a true friend. dedicated scholar with empathy for the world. I'm sure you saw him just now, Laertes. He, there is something in him, Mr. Saint Hecate and Lord Hades. They both spake, but his ways give them the memory of Kronos. It is you who knew him best. Can you help me to guide Laertes to a greater knowing of this connection and these abilities? It's a journey all of us, Cypress, Astrid, my Phoebe. We're all taking this. But I think in this instance, perhaps you can help.
Twice now you have speared my heart, though you do not know it.
I am so sorry.
It is not your fault. I do not know what has happened to my husband. He, during the fall, he helped so many to come back home. It was he who closed the gate. He who destroyed the way between. He spoke of trying to return. I don't know if he is there with you or trapped somewhere else in between places. But I have not seen him for 1,000 years. My heart tells me he lives, but I do not know. At the very least...
Mr.
Go ahead, you're gonna say.
No, go ahead. You first.
At the very least, I was able to say goodbye to my son. But I never said goodbye to him. And I hope somehow that by not doing so, he still lives out there somewhere. And that one day he will find his way back home.
The Mister is gonna reach out and take Gaia's hand, but like with a firmness. And she's gonna take a turn at being resolute
Gaia starts to
in
cry.
this exchange. Yeah, and she'll embrace her again, but this time she'll say, she actually won't say anything. She'll just let this emotion happen. She can tell that Gaia is still probably a ruler of some kind. She wants to let her have this, and then after a moment, she'll say, he gave us a chance. all that you see today, that you have seen through my eyes. And all of you. So. And if talents like his exist yet in Laertes, then we will be able to bridge the gap again. What he has given of himself, it makes ripples in the blades of grass that reach out tomorrow.
She nods. I see that spark within Laertes. My husband was a fool of a man, but ingenious. That I have seen of your friend, he is less fool, but still genius. He is on the right path. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. And good friends and companions to help guide him and keep him grounded. It was far too easy, has been far too easy for some of us who have gained so much power to have allowed it to change us. He does not seem to suffer from such delusions. Be brave, daughter. I fear the challenges are only beginning for you and the rest of our people there.
With my companions, I will be able to be brave, I think. And, you know now that I had always felt your presence. I will carry that with me still. And she's saying this to Gaia almost more to reassure herself than it is to reassure Gaia. And she says, we will see ourselves through this darkness.
I believe it. And I look forward to seeing it through your eyes. The triumph of our people, rising against the darkness that nearly destroyed us all. Thank you, Themisto, for bringing me the hope I did not realize I had lost.
And thank you, Mother Gaia, for helping me know to do what is right. That it is in my hands.
It has always been in your hands. We make our own destinies. As long as we are strong enough and have the will to do so. And you, mystery of the mere, daughter of the scales. Never has there existed a stronger will. Her body disassembles into energy and light. Still present, but it just kind of starts to like fade outwards.
The mister was just about to crack a joke as she vanishes.
Go for it. What are
She
you gonna say?
gets maybe halfway. She maybe gets halfway into it. Like, I am unused to these honorifics for my. My guy, yeah. And then dream will end.
Okay. We have one more dream. Well, one more moment. Cypress. He brushes your cheek. I wish that this were real.
Cypress kind of leans his forehead into his forehead. I had the feeling it wasn't.
I guess it was and it wasn't. He grabs your hand and holds it in his. And you can see just barely his hand through yours. You never were the studious one with the arcane things. But this is as close to being real.
Is this?
Whichever god or goddess you have bribed into allowing you to spend time with me again, I appreciate their efforts.
So it's not just a dream.
I do not know. I can feel you. But you are not here. You're tethered
coming.
elsewhere.
I'm on my way back.
I hope so.
Perhaps too soon.
I don't think
Are
there
you
is such a
safe?
thing. He smiles and nods. You hear a knock on his door. Esterian, are you dressed? It's nearly sunrise. You hear a young man's voice. You see Asterion for a brief moment. His eyes grow wide. You have to go. You cannot be seen here. You're not supposed to come back, remember? Not until they've said...
Yes.
He like rolls out of bed quickly and starts trying to gather your things, but finds that his hands pass through them. And it's like, you hear another knock on the door.
I would help, but I don't know how to leave.
He's like looking around. Gather your things, hurry.
Should I hide under the bed?
Asterion?
He
Are
starts
you awake?
grabbing stuff.
You're not still sleeping, are you? You hear the voice, playful but serious. And then you hear the door start to crack open. Just a moment. And he's like, just go.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain. You hear him rush over to the door and open it. I was awake. I just wasn't expecting you to arrive so quickly. What do you mean so quickly? It's nearly sunrise. Do you know what your mothers would say if they knew that I had let you sleep in so late? Yeah, but it's just I thought I would like. Do you completely hide behind the curtains, or do you try and peek a little bit?
I think Cypress has an idea of what and or who, even if not their identity, what or who their purpose is. And he does not peek. He just kind of listens with his eyes down.
You hear from just the tone of voice. Make a perception check.
Maybe he sneaks a peek if we really want him to sneak a peek. At a -1, that's an 8.
Oh, beautiful. You can hear hushed, toned words. You're unable to discern what they say. And then you hear this like chiding sound. What did you do in your bed? The sheets are everywhere. Did you not sleep well again last night? And then you hear this like Asterion being sounding nervous. No, but just bad dreams. Just lots of bad dreams. And then more like low talking. And then you hear next to your ear. I guess it's time for you to come back. Dear sweet Cypress. You had such a good time. And suddenly you feel like you are being grabbed by the collar and yanked backwards. You feel yourself just like whoosh as this astral projection ends. You are shunted back into your body, which has somehow landed on the floor of the bed that you had been sleeping in. You just feel yourself, you feel like you have fallen from the ceiling and onto the ground, even though you probably hadn't. It just like that, poof, you feel that impact. It's the sensation of getting like the air almost knocked out of you without the pain of impact itself. It's this weird disembodied thing. And as you shake the cobwebs from your mind, and suddenly you feel your body as if you have. You ever, when you know when you get into such a deep sleep, and then you wake up and you know for almost a certainty you haven't moved in the 8 hours that you have been in that bed, and your body just is like, oh god, I gotta move all my muscles. That's kind of what you are feeling now. There's like the prickly sensation of almost having had like the extremities, like your fingers and your toes kind of feel numb. And you just have to like stretch your hand to where you have to get the blood flow back, and as you're like doing this, like you have no sensation of your skin. You're seeing your hand move, and it's just like barely starting to return all of the nerve endings. Oh. What? You hear the voice again in your ear. What a beautiful thing love is. Since I have done you this favor, I will ask one in return.
Name it.
Oh, I will. When the time is right. I look forward to your return to Thebes.
As do I.
It shall definitely be an interesting reunion.
Is there something you're not telling me?
Many things. But that is the way of it. Get up, golden boy. The day's starting. Well, whatever.
This is not the right way to start a day.
Wait till you look outside.
Oh.
The voice dissipates, and you guys all wake from your night's sleep.
Is Cypress gonna like have to go Odysseus on a bunch of suitors when he shows up at these?
Only I can string this bow.
Because it got so dark the day before, when Phoebe wakes up, she's gonna see if there's a sunrise.
You being in the particular part of the United States, Detroit, you are familiar with the darkness of storm cloud sun, like obscuring sun. It is pitch black outside, and it should be, your body feels dawn. You go over to a window. You look out into the city of Kaipentha and find that it is dark outside. It feels like it looks like it should be night, but it feels, you're almost certain it feels like this is morning. And then just barely in the horizon, you can see a slight graying to the horizon. And you watch as an orb starts to rise in the horizon and bring a darkened light to a new day. And you watch for one of the first times ever. You can look at the sun as it rises. You do not feel your eyes burn. You do not feel the searing pain of its brightness. You instead watch this ball of light start to rise in the sky. No clouds to cover it, yet the obscure nature of it makes you feel like you're in, like when it's about to thunderstorm, you know, and it's just like that super dark. And it's just barely getting brighter than that. You remember from the day before that even at noonday, it felt like a cloudy day. Everything just was dulled. But the sun rises, just not to its power.
Mister. Mister, wake up.
Rolls over.
Look.
And she's probably in a fairly good mood when she wakes up. Like, yes, my sunbeam.
Speaking of sunbeams, look.
Mister will go over to the window and look out at the strange state of the world. Ash. So, the issues that befell us during the last fight, it wasn't just about those creatures, it was something more. Phoebe, I think we must move quickly.
Something has happened.
Yes.
Didn't Hecate say it was centered on Sparta?
Yes.
If so, it
Yes,
is
she did.
spreading. What do we wake the
Well.
others? Phoebe would like to reach out the window as far as she can to like the edge of the roof and cast light there, knowing it's not as bright as it has been. But just put extra light from this house of healing in this little village.
Hmm.
Some hope for however long the light lasts.
And it's there. The light flickers and dances and moves and brings a further brightness. But even it feels not enough.
The Misto will reach out with her sword and place the flat of it where Phoebe touched on the roof and add a little bit of her own light to that spot. Also, casting light is a cantrip mechanically.
Nice. It brings a stability to the light, but it still feels dulled somehow. It doesn't get any necessarily brighter, but it doesn't seem to be that like pulsing flicker that it was before. It's a little steadier, a little more sure.
The Misto looks at Phoebe having just re-experienced her life.
Mhm.
And it says, Phoebe, what we said last night about creating a new tradition. I know it is the way now. The way to move forward. And she'll give her a little kiss. And she'll go, the sky is dim, but my spirit is not. We can do this. We should move on to Sparta.
Phoebe will kiss her back. As soon as possible, then. If there is no light to guide us, we will be the light as we travel. Let's wake the others.
And we'll go fetch some companions. Fully clothed, I might add.
Oops.
Oh, I mean, then what's the point?
It can't always
Cypress
be a
is like you
house.
are.
I mean, after last week, there's nothing but no
Yeah.
secrets.
In the hallway, as you open the door, Xanthus starts as he was like leaned up with his legs close to his chest, it seemed like, and kind of just like sleeping like this. He like suddenly like wakes up with a start as he had been leaning against near the door where Themisto and Phoebe had slept. A couple of like blinks and he is up and pulling at Tunic and trying to straighten himself up. Gives a almost military like nod salute to Themisto. Everything Everything all right, mistress?
Returns it and pats him on the shoulder. She goes, "Hey." The danger remains, as is to be expected. But we are ready to move. You slept?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No. I was asking because I was hoping that you did.
I was supposed to be watching the hallway. I failed.
Hmm.
Davos is watching outside the door. He kind of like
Santa,
averts his
you-
eyes.
You cannot take care of others if you do not take care of yourself.
My instructors
We-
would have said otherwise.
Which, by the way, isn't this?
Yes.
It is just Phoebe and I and you right now. I noticed the other day a certain sense about you, a weight of things. Are you alright? Would you like to talk? I know it is not in a Spartan way to share one's feelings, but surely you can with a priestess, no?
Uh, I am
Or a friend?
kind of like seems like he's struggling with his words for a minute. I am fine. I appreciate your concern, priestess. Themisto and Phoebe. I am merely unused to all of these. It is not what I expected for my life. But I would not change anything. I will go make sure that Davos is ready for us to head out. He picks up his shield and spear that he had set down on the wall and turns back to you, gives one like solid bow, and then backs away and heads out. Shoulders held tight and back as he kind of like walks out and down the hallway. Cypress and Laertes, I'm assuming you hear like you don't hear the what was said, but you just hear that the people are talking or talking in low tones.
I imagine he's been awake for a decent while, just going through the morning exercises and transferring the contents of his regular satchel to the new hotness that Hecate had given him last night. Kind of spending a little time figuring out how to even deploy some of the things that she's given to him and how much of it he wants to keep on his person directly versus either in the bag or disseminated among the group. What he'll do for now is in the picture for that, what is it called? The Yule Holy Card of Access that you gave me.
Yeah, that's
time of opening.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
you can if you
It
have
looked like
a,
it had like a lanyard in the picture, so I imagine he actually puts it on, hides it underneath the folded robe, so it kind of just blends in. I imagine it says like Comic-Con 2024 or something. But he'll keep that part on me because you never know when that would be immediately necessary, rather than him trying to fumble through a bag or pockets or reaching for someone else on it. Um, but the two more combative objects, they're sort of like floating around his hand. Not unlike the Goblin King in Labyrinth.
nice.
But less
There's less gesticulation.
I was gonna say testiculation, but
Yeah, same thing.
Less
Yeah,
portion.
same.
anywho, he'll step out, and these two things will sort of just be swirling in this controlled orbit. Well, good morning. I have gifts.
Yes.
Is Cypress among us yet, or
Yeah, Cypress at this point has appeared after spending a little bit longer on his morning routine to make sure he actually has full control of all of its faculties. Having to relearn the use of his hand and deal with a bunch of general. His whole body.
Yeah.
It's okay, Graham. You and I had the same thought.
Wow.
I imagine there's a whole drop down HUD of things that I could have said, and I chose not to. He just looks at that. And I'm gonna take that, put that over here, and I'm gonna go back to this. He goes, who here has a little bit of trouble sometimes attacking from afar?
I suppose it depends. I can
Okay, that's
throw a
one.
javelin.
Okay, that's one. Who else? No takers?
I mean, I can shoot lights from afar, so.
Well, and
But
he'll
most of the
send.
time,
Go ahead.
most of the time I focus on trying to keep us all in one piece. And
Okay. So he's going to send one each to Phoebe and Cypress, and it's this. Now I looked at it on D&D Beyond, but Aaron, you tell me if this is correct. If it's sort of a rusted metallic ball of some sort, it looks like it's articulated like a curled up beetle. Is kind of the impression I got. But does it, because it came from Hecate, is it newer looking?
Yeah, I mean it's still like bronze like rings that are just it's like those like the decorative little ornamental spheres that they make out of like twig that you have probably seen in some home goods stores, but this is instead of twig like metal bands
It's like
that
a
are just
brass filigree kind of
it's
thing.
it almost
pretty
like
cool.
to the point of it being like those balls of yarn that you can just see like so many wrapping around that it's just it just looks like that, but it's made out of
Like
brass.
spun metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
These will help trap something if you need to from a distance. And I can't really use them, but I thought it would be good for someone else to.
How does one use them?
There's a keyword I'll teach you when we're walking.
I'd like to trap a fragment of fear with it.
That was a thought, yes.
Eldora, I chose you.
unchoose you with that? You have to weaken it first.
I'm afraid.
Status effects.
I'm afraid that the day is much darker than yesterday.
Then we should get moving quick. He kind of gestures down the hall so they could do the Aaron Sorkin thing of walk and talk.
Mhm.
I was also given this, and he sort of loops from underneath the fold of his robe. How? Okay, the characters wouldn't have any context for this because the character that had this they don't remember. But does it look like that
Who?
sort of metallic, oversized playing card? Does it have that same look to it?
A slimmer version of it, so maybe less of a rectangular card, and maybe just like a scaled down version of it, or
Okay.
a metallic bookmark, if you will.
Okay. This, according to Hecate, will let us get into any other priory we run into.
This charm that you have.
According to her, it's a some form of access. It may help open other more mundane doors, but haven't had a chance to figure that out yet.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing.
When do we see who Kate's favorite is? She'll say with a wink.
Oh, well, I suppose I need all the help I can get. Speaking of which, he's going to sling the new satchel into view, kind of like a messenger bag, across his chest, and open it, and he'll smile to himself because he's been wanting to do this all morning, and he'll Houdini his own arm into this thing, and it looks like it's going through his own chest, and I imagine something going like, in case we need to lug anything around to make our trek a little bit easier, right in there.
So, that is amazing. Does it have a heft or?
Lighter than my old bag, which is buried somewhere in the infinite recesses of this one.
Maybe we can convince
Wow.
Mal to put all of her books in there and travel faster.
And he kind of looks at this to see if he can actually rearrange this in such a way that would physically work. But I don't think the dimensions of it will really support that.
No.
It has scrolls and things.
We'll see what we can conjure when we get to the moment.
If you can get her up, I will collect breakfast that we can eat as we travel.
Good plan.
Yes. Perhaps. Yeah, Hesiod, Helion. What was his name?
Oh.
Perhaps he is about.
Wrote it down. Where is this man? Herodian.
Aronian. I was about to say Herodotus next, but I know that wasn't right.
That's a different guy.
Yeah, different problem.
I'll head to the kitchen and see if Herodian's up, and if not, I'll start looking for things like figs and honey, some bread.
I think you'll find honey. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say actually Herodian is not about. But as you are moving about the kitchen from the other room, Hecate comes around the corner with a couple of carrying like an armful of what looks like herbs and dried flowers and stuff. She goes, you're awake. Here, will you help me set some of these down over there on that table over there?
Of course. You know, being friends with Apollo as I am, you tend to wake up with the sun, though today is strange.
Today and every day since I have met you all. You're going to have to get used to it at some point. But yes, I have noticed the dim outlook outside. As I said,
We want to
it's-
leave as soon as possible.
I
Take a
agree.
meal to go, so we can begin our travels.
Of course. Let me see, where did Herodian put?
If you have any figs, they're the mistress' favorite.
She doesn't. She like hesitates. She's like her back's turned to you as she's going through a cupboard. She kind of hesitates as she's reaching up for something, and then just like continues to grab whatever she can. She goes, her favorite. I see. I will do what I see, what I can find. If I cannot find any, I'm sure that you can find some in the market on your way out of town.
Thank you.
Of course. Here is some bread. Here is a jar of honey. And it
We're
looks
still
it's like
catching
a
up.
it's like a jar of honey like this big. It's like gallon-sized jar of honey, and you're like, she's what was it, Laertes? You said you were gonna do what?
I'm gonna go find the old dragon
yes.
lady.
Oh yes. You go to her door. What do you do? Knock. Oh, God's not again. The sun hasn't even risen yet. Why are you at my door?
You need to get moving if you want to see history unfold.
Malak. You can hear her curse. Rolls over. You can hear the bed like squeak as she like rolls off of it and onto the floor. She like gets up. Eventually, she comes over to the door. You can hear the dragging of tail and clawed foot. She's like, comes over and opens it. You can see these almost kind of like, not quite bloodshot, but just like the tired face, you know, of someone who has just woken up. But if that applies to a lizard somehow, reptilian.
I imagine it's like 3 different membranes just lazily clicking out of sync.
Probably.
Oh, God, maybe I should have stayed on the boat.
Well, then you wouldn't get to see what happens in Sparta.
I have been to Sparta. I was not impressed. Oh, I will gather my things.
About that,
Yes.
we might be able to make at least some of those things easier to take with us.
What do you mean?
Want to see something fun?
My first reaction is yes, but after all of the fun things I have seen you and your kind do lately, I want to also say no.
It means you've been paying attention.
Fine,
May
what
I?
is it? Sure.
If she actually lets him in, he'll put
Yeah.
the bag down and open it up to see if some of your scrolls and parchments and some of the maps and stuff. Could you bring those over for a moment?
That is a very small bag for all of these papers.
Is it?
She takes out grabs the like a thick stack of scrolls that she had been writing in the night before, hands them over to you.
And you see him kind of pitch forward a little bit from the shift in weight, and before it recalibrates, and he's going to. I feel like he would always have bindings, like little strings or something, to tie up loose leaf paper so they don't get ungrouped. And he just quickly twines it so it stays together. And he's like, "You're watching, right? Paying attention? Don't blink. Also remember, don't blink."
I'm going to beat you up upside the head. If
And
I
he
had
just
energy.
slots this into the bag.
She kind of
Then he
cocks her
lifts the
head
bag.
to her. She kind of just cocks her head to the side as she sees that the bag like bulges for a second, and then just looks like it's swallowed whatever you put in it, because it goes, and then it just goes back to the normal shape. She goes over and looks, puts her fingers on the corners of the bag and looks down.
It's empty. Where did it go?
Think about what you gave me while reaching in.
What kind of?
She reaches in.
And he just makes this snap sound to try and just scare the shit out of her.
She is going to slap you. Pulls her hand out.
Death saves, got it.
Like pulls it out, slaps you in the face, or at least tries to slap you in the face. I'm sure you can like dodge out the way. She's not particularly fast, so, but still, she's like, ugh.
I just imagine he just swipes across him and his hair rustles.
Just clawed hands.
You want to try that again? I'm going to remove your intestines.
Well, at least you could put them in the bag.
What sort of devilry? And she reaches in, and she like, oh, that feels strange. And then she pulls out the. I'm imagining it's like you see empty bag, and then when your hand touches like the bottom of the bag kind of gives way, and like it's like sliding your hand into, I don't know, some sort of recessed pocket, and then it just like feels cold and.
I imagine
strange.
it more awful and surreal in the sense that it's like reaching into a pure void,
Right.
where it's just your arm occupies infinity. There's nothing else around you. There's nothing to like brush up against. It's not like a Halloween
Right.
guest job kind of thing where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, what is that supposed to be? No, it's just, oh, it's worse because there's nothing.
Yep.
It's just, well, it might make our trek a little bit easier to have less on our backs. And yet, everything.
I'm going to be under the assumption that this was something that our dear host provided for you.
Provided for us, but yes.
Shakes her head.
Oh, truly wondrous and terrifying at the same time. What if you forget what you put inside the bag?
Are you telling me you would ever forget anything you've ever written down and placed?
That's why I write it down so I don't have to remember it.
You know where it is.
It's usually in my bag somewhere.
Mm.
But at least I know that if I look for it, I will see it. That is terrifying.
I'm just giving you an option.
It is. She
With
kind of
the
picks
understanding-
the bag and like picks it up a little bit.
Does not feel heavy.
With the full understanding that whatever you put in there belongs to you. We're just not burdening ourselves with the weight.
But I can retrieve it.
Mm-hmm.
She considers this and starts to go through her bag of things that she feels like she can trust to put in there. And she very much for the we'll say the next 5 minutes is like, nope. Okay, this. Nope, definitely not. Nope, definitely okay. You can take these. It like cuts her load by like half.
Okay.
So yeah,
Maybe that'll make things just a little bit easier for the
Yeah.
troop.
for sure. Love it.
I love the irony of this spindly little gnome man carrying the bulk of all this weight, and he's just this is a little guy.
Okay. Once you have gathered with everybody else in the kitchen, there on the table, Hecate has provided a small, quick breakfast of some some bread, some spreadable cheese, honey, amount of.
If this woman invented Cheese Whiz, this universe
Oh, it's-
deserves it to end.
No, it's more along the like cream cheese.
More like a
line.
mascarpone or something. Yeah.
Mm,
Drizzle some honey, add some fruit.
okay.
There's
A
like
nice open-faced breakfast sandwich.
little dishes filled with almonds,
Delightful.
and other assorted little breakfast goodies that are easy snackable. She to Themisto, she provides the jar of honey. This is going to be for you, but she then like takes and you see it's like a full like almost like a gallon jar of honey. It's like a big clay pot. But as she you look at it and you're starting to try and picture how you're going to. She goes over to Laertes and then goes, "You know what to do with this," and then
He's actually, yeah, it's just gonna sort of float in the air under his hand for a moment as he just
puts it in the bag.
yeah,
Beautiful.
like he just sort of like stuffed it into a pocket in like a weird magic trick, just nonchalant.
In within the bounds of a wrapped bag, a wrapped like canvas, she places what she likes to call honey bread, which is basically almost like a biscuit, but a little bit bigger on the loaf, or more on the loaf side, but it also has honey veins inside. She's already sliced some for you guys.
Well, you know I'm gonna have to figure out how to make this now. It's like a spice bread.
It's almost like somewhere between like a cornbread kind of like size, but it is more like biscuit-y variety, almost like a scone-ish kind of crumbles, but it has veins of honey that go through it. And then a small pouch that she gives, and you can hear the jangle of coin. This for your travels, just in case not everybody is willing to do favors for favors. Some people require something of more monetary value. As well, she goes over and she touches the forehead of every single person. And every time she touches someone's forehead, there's this little like green and black sparkle that goes poof, and disappears. Poof. And she gives you each a blessing. So until expended or until expended or within 2 long rest time, you have advantage on dexterity checks.
Nice.
Just so you can make a note of that, but it is a little blessing.
Are there any figs on the table?
Are there any what? Figs?
Figs.
No. There are no figs. She did not have
And
any.
my other question is, are our Spartan boys in the kitchen?
Yes,
Okay, so
They
they
are.
are eating. I don't have to make the breakfast.
correct. Now they have both joined you and also received the blessing. The Mister, what were you going to say?
Themisto, upon receiving the gift of honey, is, at first, like, definitely very excited to receive this, and also going through that, like, okay, how am I going to carry this until
Yeah.
that gets taken care of? And she's going to be like, I wish we had time to stay. I would love to see the hives that you have here. I have to say, in truth, the other night when you gave some honey to Hades, it made me happy to know that the offering of mine for the gods is actually well liked.
I will tell you a little secret, Mister. The tradition of giving offerings to gods has long surpassed It was merely a kind gesture in the beginning. Something that one will do is a sign of appreciation. Hold, I have his sneeze. It is past.
Even the gods sneeze. Bless you.
Um, over time, offerings became sacrifices. We still carry on this tradition as merely a sign of goodwill to each other. It is not a means for me to diminish how you might view it, but know that this is a tradition that has far exceeded our people's stay here in this world. It is an ancient one, in every sense of the word. Plus, I know he has a sweet tooth. It's good to know
Hey.
these little secrets.
So you are also saying you do not want an ox if I were to try to send one.
I do appreciate a good meal on occasion, but I myself rarely find myself hungry enough for an entire ox. Ares, on the other hand, I have seen him eat more than a few horses. Not literally, but almost literally. That man can put away food like you would not believe. She looks over at the Spartan boys. I have a feeling that they, too, would put away a lot more food than you might believe. But no, I appreciate the offer. I would not say no to a gift of an ox. However, I might be hard pressed on what to do with it in its entirety. She smiles. Sometimes I wonder what will become of our world with all of these things. But to the matter of hand. It is at least a two-day journey from here to Sparta. I know that you will be traveling with haste, but there will be a saying, haste makes waste. No, that's not what she says. But I do fear that if you travel with too much haste, you run the risk of causing yourself more harm than good. So please be cautious on your journey. Be vigilant. I would rather you get there safely than trying to rush. Once it gets close to the time of dusk, make sure that you have found yourself some means of shelter, whether it be a home or an abode. And try to keep fires lit. Something lurks in the darkness at night. There are already stories here within the city that not good things. They are not good stories. And I know that you are more than capable of keeping yourself safe, but still remain vigilant. Stay watchful. Once you reach Sparta, find the weaver's daughter. It is both literally and figuratively. There is a weaver within the city of Sparta. His daughter is not really his daughter, but she comes from the land of Kemet. She will give you sanctuary and a place to rest and stay there safely and out of the eyes of whoever might be looking. She will be discreet. Her name is Usur Cow. It is not like the moo cow.
Can you drop that into chat?
Yeah, I will.
Well, I had part of that, right?
I never can. So as we enter Sparta, should I keep the light hidden to not draw attention to us?
Do not draw attention to yourselves, if possible. It would seem that the cult of Phobos is already at work in the lands in the city of Sparta. Until you find out who and the extent of their influence, it is best that you try and remain as hidden as possible. They will be looking for any reason to start a fight.
Well, you heard the lady, and the mister was going to lovingly touch her snakes and put her hood up. And then, like, go, that means you too, Cleo, and give Cleo a little pat to make sure that she actually gets under the hood instead of hanging out and looking around like she likes to do.
On the road as well.
What?
On the road as well.
It is good practice to lay as low as possible. Even those of us who could not be touched by any mortal man, we try to be as disguised as possible. You want to share the light, but do not blind them.
I will try to keep the light focused on an object then, instead of myself.
That is for the best. One day, hopefully, when all of this is past, Demisto, I will show you all the hives that I have. I have more than this one. Marpe has made a name for herself, after all. It's a growing franchise. Just wait and see.
Perhaps one day I will be able to have some bees of Marpe's brought to Delphi.
Consider it done. Oh, well, anyway. You must get on the road. We do not wish to burn what little daylight you have. There is a market on the edges of town. One built for the travelers before they leave Kaipantha. Speak to Cadmos. He will give you the figs you want. I hear they are your favorite. She looks over at the Misto and kind of does that. This little thing. I hear they're your favorite. I will be watching. I have to return and inform Ares of everything that we have learned. And I have sent word ahead to Sparta to a friend. They will be on the watch out for you.
Thank you.
How might we recognize them?
They'll find you.
Everyone's been finding us.
Well, it's easier that way. Do not worry. Okay, remember, Weaver's daughter, Ufsert cow. Safe journey. Travel by day, hide by night. Keep the light on, but not on yourself. I think these are good rules. Okay. We have been blessed. Be careful. Now go. Go, go, go. Alright.
As we step out, I will cast light on the tip of my staff and then hold my staff out like a walking stick for the journey. And just every hour recast it onto the tip of the staff.
You find that as you are walking, I mean, it is dark outside, but it's not like by the time the sun has risen to, morning where it's like nice up in the horizon, it's like overcast sky. It's like grayish light. You know what I mean? It's not like, so while yes, it is helpful, it is not necessarily it is
I'll
not.
still keep it going
Yeah.
symbolically.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just so that I'm make sure that you understood what I meant by that. It's like not any darker than it was the day before. It just is taking longer to
Like the whole day now.
Yeah, it's taking longer to brighten. And then once the sun is in the sky, it's basically like dim light. Okay, well, goodbye. So you head off to on your way out of the city. You do stop. You find the little market. You are you find Cadmos, and he gives you a small bushel of figs for your journey.
How much does a bushel of figs cost?
A fistful of drachma.
Do you mention Marpe, that Marpe sent you?
Phoebe has a lot of money that she doesn't know what to do with, so she'll pay full price for this because also like the world kind of sucks right now. So
Okay.
Support the local economy.
yeah.
It's probably like, I don't know, 10 is 10 copper a silver?
I think so.
Okay, so we'll just
Yes.
we'll just say 5 copper.
Or is it 100?
5
10.
copper. Yeah, so we'll say 5 copper. By the way, that bag of Clinky Clanky was a bag of 100 gold to split amongst the 4 of you. So 25 gold each.
Fun.
Wow.
How much gold, Phoebe? It's just like not
So-
even his money.
Yeah, I'm going to have to, I'll donate it to the temple, I guess. What am I going to do with the money?
Laertes, what were you gonna say?
Oh, just a slight rewind is as they're heading out, he would have paused, put his hand on the door frame to give one last lingering look at Hecate, thinking back to their conversation of the loneliness of their burden of knowledge. And how, as crushing as that weight has been, it feels a little bit lighter with the knowledge that someone else also is crushed by it. I'll give her a little nod and he'll head out.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, with that, we will go ahead and take our break. And we will be back here in a few minutes as you continue your journey towards the city-state of Sparta.
And for anyone that may have missed it, there could be a replay of something from earlier in the episode.
Oh, yeah!
Hey, a trailer.
Let's do that right now. Okay, bye! was the
Whoa!
worst transition ever. Of all of the noises I've ever made. Just a very low, tame woohoo. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay. Let's see here. You find yourself leaving Kaipantha, headed northwest, deeper into the mainland, which feels like a whole new realm and world compared to everything you've been doing. Is I've been on a boat lately. There it was. There was that sneeze I was waiting on. It had just been lurking for a while, and now it's finally gone. Okay. Who is leading this journey?
Cypress can go first, though he should probably have a torch.
I mean,
I'll
you can see, so that's up to you.
Oh.
It's not, like I said, it's not that dark
It's just
outside.
dim
It's
light.
just
It's
it's just
gloomy.
Yeah, gloomy. It's just gloomy out.
I'm the one with the shield. I can go first. Not that I think something will come flying in our direction.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not.
I'll catch it.
And the Spartans have a good track record for reacting to Thebans on sight.
Yep.
Yeah, Phoebe can't go first anyway. She's busy leading a charm offensive in the side chat.
Where's my? Oh no, this is the wrong song.
I just gave my girlfriend a fig. It's not like I proposed yet.
It's one of those big
That's with the
figs where
pomegranate.
it's just like now like a weird like.
What gesture
big
did
evil-
you do?
Hmm. What'd you do now?
I said, what gesture did you do?
I was gonna say she put the fig on her ring finger.
Okay.
Something on her finger, anyways.
In any case, Jesus Christ.
Yes, my
Can't
son.
take it anymore.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me a survival check or perception, one of those two.
I'm bad at both. I won't bad. Oh no.
It would have to be a dex check, would it?
6.
Can I use the help action since I'm holding a glowing staff?
I mean, yes, but this not.
What
would
could
not
go
affect
wrong?
this.
What could?
Oh, Martel, I love you.
Mikate, we got 12 feet.
I
up
do
to
not
get you
have
die.
wandering eyes.
I mean, it's not hard. You're following a path.
They're not
There's-
made of fire.
No, that's fair. Okay, hold on. I got another sneeze. Ugh. Okay. All right. With all the rain lately, the allergens have now started springing up. So, hooray! Okay, you are following a path. There is a road that leads you from here that is supposed to lead you across to Sparta. It is one of those that is, as you are traveling, the skies above are mostly cloudless. There's occasional cloud, but it's like the day before, heavily shadowed versus what it would normally look like, lending itself to this almost perpetual state of eclipsed light to the space around you. Having left Kaipantha, there is a few people that are few people on the roads. You see, as you've traveled, as you travel throughout the day, you run across a couple of people that are headed towards the city, but nobody was really heading outwards. Most seemed to be heading towards the city itself.
Towards the city we just left, for clarification.
Correct. You travel down through valleys and up across steep hillsides. Every little shadow seems to stretch and move with the wind that blows across the horizon. It blows across the landscape, really. The further you get from the city, the more that sense of out and in the open you feel. There comes a point where both Davos and Xanthus, while normally in travel mode, they don't, they have like shields strung across back and they're just walking with spear in hand. But now, this far out from the city, you've now been traveling for about 4 or 5 hours. Shields are bared. They have them on. They put their shields on. They walk with spear in hand, and you can sense the tension with which they grab it. Their eyes on the constant lookout for any sort of threat. Their ears perked up and almost like cats on a swivel that kind of like peer forward, back and forth as they're like listening for whatever little sound. Even Ma'al seems to clutch her bag tightly and has been quiet for most of or has become more quiet. At first she had been, normal, making casual observations as you leave, but now has grown quiet. And then you see your first village. Well, not even a village, more like a couple of houses that are gathered together in an open field. The road takes you right by this house. And the door is open. And this farm that looks like it would normally have some sort of vibrance of life. You can see pens where animals would be kept. Chickens, cows, something. Even the birds are quiet. The door hangs by a hinge. There's this air of abandonment. And the slight recollection of a village that you had first encountered on your journey. Something similar to that feeling. Do you guys continue along or do you stop?
I think we should continue.
Ah,
Don't waste time.
Agreed.
you say this, but Hecate told us not to rush things. What if we miss something or someone, you know?
We can look real quick and see what we see. There's no
You
point
all
in
look,
just
I
rushing
can-
by.
I can stay
Since-
outside with the other 2 Spartans. Right,
Since-
boys?
No one is here. Themis is gonna take her hood down.
I will stay with you, Cyprus, Davos says. Xanthus, keep an eye on them, please. Xanthus doesn't say anything, but just kind of like nods. We're going to say Laertes.
Oh, I'm gonna go with her to
Okay.
look, and I'm gonna do one little itty bitty thing really, really quick. Given some of the things we've been running into, there's going to be this reassuring touch of the shoulder and a nod of agreement why they're there. And she will feel her senses come alive, while the snakes maybe feel just a little more alert than they were already, as she receives the gift of alacrity.
Ooh.
Which gives you... Let me first actually hit the button so I make sure it's used. She gets an additional 1d8 to her initiative.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you. The Misto has a little extra spring in her step. As we start to explore, she's gonna look also to Phoebe. Are you taking a look with us or staying here?
I'm putting the light inside so it's easier to see.
As the three of them begin to explore, this will be a good moment to mention. Not to get into too much detail because it was an emotional meeting, but I did get to speak to Gaia last night. She came to me in a vision.
Oh.
Good. I hope so.
It was very helpful to me. Although, Laertes, I did ask her about Kronos. Unfortunately, although people say I am wise, it is a sore subject for her. She has not seen her husband in 1,000 years, not since the fall. She does not know where he is. Though, if I see her again, I will broach the topic another time.
You say you're not wise, but maybe she was glad to talk of him for a little bit.
I hope so. I am sorry that I was not able to bring back anything useful for you.
What do you mean?
We spoke briefly in Marpe's house, and you asked if perhaps I could reach out when I suggested doing so. But no. The best we know is that he could be here. He could be here with us someplace. If he lives.
Why would she think that he was here? Other than the fact that he's not there.
And making sure that we're doing this as we're investigating.
Yeah.
I imagine he's also going through the process of, if they're physically looking, he's doing the old process of scanning the room his own way.
She's gonna say this in like a really hushed tone, even though they're supposedly alone. She said it was he that closed the gate. The three places that we saw.
That would make sense. That must have been heartbreaking.
I
Making
could
that
feel
choice.
that much, yes.
Still, someone that perhaps sacrificed his own happiness to try and protect something else.
Mm.
Of all the acts we hear of gods and heroes, that's the most tragic and yet the most inspiring one I've heard.
She was not certain of much, but she was certain that she used the word millions. It is a hard concept for me.
Aaron,
Aye.
how many people are in a metropolitan city like Ilum? Maybe like
A couple 100,000.
tens, 20, 30.
Maybe 100,000.
And that's during like symposia. That's not actually like it's
Yeah.
either way, that's a
Doesn't-
small paltry number
Yeah.
comparison.
Because most people, even in cities, they're not going to be, more
Yeah,
than that, I would imagine.
Hmm.
Very, very quick Google says Babylon had possibly 200,000. So it was like a capital of the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, that's quite the thing. Just millions.
But yeah, a lot of them didn't get anywhere near that large.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely imagine that would be the outlier, not the norm.
And then for like a real world comparison, like that was like the population of like Corpus Christi, which is not a very large city.
Hmm.
So so there's the aside.
The more you know.
Why
mean,
it's
that
a
gives
challenging
context.
concept for Themisto.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's fun side knowledge though for the context of it. Just imagine a place not maybe unlike this, but more of us.
I think more survive there than happened here. Not only people, but ways of being in the world, you know?
Knowledge.
You stop.
Yes.
We'll say that at this point you've kind of been looking around the house.
Mhm.
Seems to have been, for the most part, cleared out as you were talking. You go outside to one of the. What's this word called? Like a stable, I guess. Like you would see like a pen that enclosed and it has a stable, almost like a barn. And both of you see the same thing at the same time. An odd mass in the upper corner of the stable, probably about 2 feet across at most. But it almost looks like a nest. If the nest was made of stick, twig, leaf, hay, and brackish looking mud. Almost like a strange wasp nest. It's just this like mound that's oddly packed into the corner of this stable. And the both of you kind of just as like you're poking around, you
Oh.
both stop.
Three of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Three of us.
Oh well, and Xanthus.
And Xanthus.
Oh, so four.
He
How-
Three
not
Orphics
really
and a Spartan.
being he
On ABC.
he not being like he's kind of there more to guard you than he is to like explore and look around. He's kind of more keeping a general eye out, leaving you to kind of look around at the details.
So is there this pulsing mass?
It just looks
Or-
like It looks like someone took an armful of mud and debris and just like stuck it in the corner.
Okay, but it's
But it's
not
almost
moving.
doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
You're probably about like 15, 20 feet away from it whenever you first see it.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't look what we might consider natural in the typical sense.
Mm-mm.
Oh, this.
Aaron, as I've been sort of doing the hand wavy walking through the air thing, have I begun to pick up on any particular grossness in the air?
In the air, no.
Mm-hmm.
On this mass, yes.
Yeah. And it strikes as hauntingly familiar, I'm assuming,
Yes and
in
no.
some way. Okay.
'Cause it doesn't look. You're so used to seeing stuff that looks tarish,
Mhm.
like glassy, smooth. This doesn't have that same texture to it. It literally looks like someone rolled the black mud across the ground and it just kind of catamaried like a bunch of stuff with it, and then they just threw it up in the corner. It doesn't look like what you're used to seeing,
Mm-hmm.
but the residue here and the general sensation is off-putting enough to make you question what it is that you're looking at.
I'm going to more formally use that one-a-day ability to just get a pinpoint ping. Because I imagine it's not just the first thing it would ping off of. It would be that awful sensation of in Aliens where it's in the walls and in the ground. Like I just imagine you would get that mental ping of just it's all the way over there, it's underground, it's over there,
Mm.
assuming that's even active.
You open up that ability.
Psychic backlash. Got it.
What?
This is your brain on a landmine. Wait, what?
This is the song that I'm looking for. I think so.
I don't think my tea has enough caffeine in it, he said, his teeth clattering.
Your sense goes outwards as you see it, and you're like immediate, like not like you necessarily get tunnel vision, but your like brain starts going, wait a minute, and you start trying to sense out in this different sense. And as you do so, your heart skips one beat, and then a second. This mass, though slightly innocuous in that it looks like this really strange wasp hive, is like a tumor growth of vile. And what looks like one mass, you get almost like this little like we'll use the example of Aliens, like that little like sensor suite, the and it has 5 pings within it.
Okay.
That's a problem.
No bigger than the size of a small melon. They're
Does it need
just
to be burned?
clumped together.
I just want to look up something real quick because I will have an answer for that.
Hi, Raiders. We just stumbled upon a nest of horrors here on the road to Sparta. So,
Children
in a
of Proteus. Hello, friend.
really creepy, kind of gloomy, dark sky because the sun is not shining properly, even though there are no clouds. Yeah, now here come the horror beasts. So,
Okay, I have a new
Welcome.
fun ability. I'm ready to try.
Do I get the sense that even as I'm sort of pinging out to this, my body language is suggesting that this is going to be bad. Do I get the suggestion of her body language that she's, charging up on instinct kind of thing?
I think you can see, because like I've been trying to keep the light focused on my staff, but you can see little like how Aaron described like wisps of what you've seen from Astrid star powers, but sun colored for lack of a better term.
Like solar flare style.
Yeah, almost like very faint, like solar energy from Phoebe.
Like to imagine there's this sort of rolling solar flare starting to come off the edges of her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Does she still have the cute highlights?
Mhm.
Off topic.
They're actually
On
getting
topic.
brighter.
Yeah.
Hot topic.
He's going to step back,
Hot topic.
giving her just this upward nod in that direction, and then he starts to prepare something as well in case that doesn't quite do it.
Okay. I need to make sure I'm within 15 feet of this.
You'll have to take you'll have to take a couple steps forward.
I'll take a couple of steps forward.
Amista will draw her shield and sword.
I will put my staff back. And Phoebe will begin focusing that solar energy into her hands. And that new way that she focused the night before of really just like pulling it from within her. And as she steps forward into that range, for the first time, a very concentrated burst of solar energy is going to come forward. And what's its fancy name? A searing arc. A searing arc strike, which is casting burning hands in a 15-foot cone.
Okay.
Phoebe casts flamethrower.
This is turning.
Again, we're in aliens.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say, I was like, this is turning into an alien thing. Is that a save involved?
Let me see.
This is the bug
I've
hunt.
never casted burning hands before.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yes, it's a deck save. Ooh, I'm gonna need more dice for
They
this.
mostly come out at night.
If it
Mostly.
helps, I'll be casting something at the same time as well. I have a fun image in my head right now.
And I am far away. I'm not aware that
Just
this
hearing
is
this
transpiring.
muffled
This is on the
explosion.
back end of the house, and you're in the front end of the house with Davos, and Davos is currently just like, so you think they're going to find anything?
Why are
Probably not.
all
I
my
imagine.
dice
I just
way
am
more
wanting to be
solar
safe in
shots?
case it's a trap, because the trap would come from outside,
Yeah, definitely from outside.
not from inside.
The Spartan
I do
countryside
wor-
buckled a quarter inch.
Well, I guess if we hear anything, we'll know that we were wrong.
What were you gonna do at the same time, Laertes?
I'm gonna let her get off first, and she's just sort of in mid prep.
Okay. What's your
Give it a
spell
little-
DC, Phoebe?
Dex save 14.
This fire. Do I have? Of course, I did not load this one. It's fine. We'll just use our imaginations. Wait, don't I have a soundboard with a fire spell sound? Oh, I do. What does it sound like? This fire goes out. And as
It
you
will
bring
do 12 points of fire damage if they fail.
Okay. You see. We're just going to bring. These creatures screech as the fire burns across wood and this mound. What had seemed like a packed amount of dirt with various, yummy things. Oops.
Dark gushers.
Yeah. The nearly solidified version of vision of this like mound suddenly begins to jiggle like this odd jello as they then split apart into 4 different directions.
Oh, whoops.
You see pseudopods that begin to lash out at the different sides of the barn surface and start pulling themselves like a mound of, for lack of a better term, a mound of insects that just got scattered. You just see them go and start scattering in a bunch of directions.
Oops.
If I can still do this, I would have casted something as it started to move. If the fire wasn't going for it, it would have been the fire explosion.
Well, they
Yeah.
would have moved. They all rolled higher than a 16 on all of 4 of their saves.
Okay. Can I do my thing in that area then, or?
Oh, they take half damage.
Yeah, I know. I still counted
Okay.
for it. It did not.
Okie dokie.
They
I'm
start going
expensive.
and start spreading all over the place. You see. Go ahead. What were you gonna do?
As soon as there was movement at all, because he was already prepped, so it would have been just a rustle boom as well. Just wanted to see which level I was going to do this because I can't do it at that level. That makes no sense. It would have been a 2nd level magnified gravity.
Okay. How many
So as
creatures
soon as
can you
there's
hold?
it's not about how many, it's the however many is in a 10-foot radius. So if you would have been centering it on the mound of ick,
Okay. And what's the save on that one?
it is a con.
First one is going to be a 14.
Fail.
Second one, a unnatural 20.
Okay.
Third one is a 10.
Fail.
And the last one, a 15.
Fail. Okay, 3 failures. So they all take 8 force damage, which is not great. However, on a failed save, where is this thing? Because there's other stuff here. Speed is halved until the end of its next turn.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and add a stasis to whichever one. It's kind of immaterial.
Okay. So pick one, and then what is there a save for that?
It does auto take another 7 force as I'm trying to lock it down into place.
Okay.
And it's another wisdom save.
Wisdom save. 15.
Fail.
So you lock one into place, and the others start moving. You see them that they were moved with a quickness, like a terrifying quickness, and those that scattered are slowed down by half. So they still managed to move all over.
I believe the one that succeeded still takes 4 damage. Let me just double check that really quick.
Okay. You 3, go ahead and roll a quick initiative. We're just gonna do this really quick because we're not gonna do a whole fight. But
Sure.
Okay.
Remember, you get an
19?
extra.
Yeah, Themista gets the clarity.
I
Alacrity.
do. It's a good thing too, because I rolled pretty low.
And yeah, it does take the half damage.
okay.
13.
13.
10. Oh, I gotta actually make sure that spell's been cast on my sheet.
Okay. Let's see here. How's this thing going? For a lovely, the babies.
What made me feel bad about these things?
They screech they start writhing and going all over as like a scattered pack of daddy long legs. Sorry for the visual, but there it is.
Katamari don'ts.
Katamari don't. Yeah, and you see that as they start to move and writhe and go in a bunch of different directions, you have seen something similar once before. Back on the island, there were these creatures when you were in the village, the abandoned village, that were running along the water at great speed and almost looked spider-like but weren't somehow. Like they're like these appendages that would pull themselves along, but you had obliterated them before they really got too close. Now you see that these things, once again, they look like they've just... It's like what you would imagine if Gak became alive and then you threw it and like rolled it around the ground. It's like slime. It was like a
From the
like
90s.
putty. Yeah, the 90s 90s reference.
These are like the young version.
These are just smaller versions of what you had seen before. But as you see them now up close, as they're spreading around, on the one falls to the ground, it starts running towards. We'll say it starts running towards Laertes. Another one's like goes up along the edges of the rafter down the side of the post and is like going towards Phoebe. Another one goes towards the Mystic. Because there's 4 of them, we'll say one goes for each of the 4 of you there. You see that this mound of black ooze with dirt and leaf when it screeches, there is like, imagine the inside, the mouth of aliens where it's just like teeth, and then you see that there is another mouth on the inside, and it just goes as it like runs towards you. Phoebe, you go first. What are you doing toward the one? We'll say that there's already one in range of each of you, so Phoebe, knock yourself out.
Like melee range?
Yeah.
Let me... Okay, they're yucky. I don't really want to touch them, but if they're melee range, I won't sunbolt them. And I guess I'll hit it twice with my staff.
Okay.
To start. That is a 17 for the first one.
Yep.
Which is 11 points of bludgeoning damage. Is it still kicking?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. I forgot how to do math. Yes, it is.
Okay, then it's a... Oh, math is hard. 17 plus 8 should be enough to hit it.
Yes.
And then 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Is it still up?
Yep. You
Okay.
see, you whack it, and with each move, it launches it sideways, and then this is like the worst sort of creature that like you hit it with your staff, and it like flings it to the side because there's not a lot of mass to it, but it immediately starts pulling itself back towards you. So like every time you hit it, it's like hitting a hockey puck that's stuck to the end of your stick, basically. If that makes sense, it's just like battering
if
it back.
it matters, my strikes now count as magical.
Okay.
Okay, and then for my bonus action, I'm gonna kick the nasty thing, but that's only a 10.
10 misses.
Okay.
You see its mouth bite onto the edge of, we'll say, the edge of your dress as it passes by, and just kind of rips some of it as you like kick by, and it just kind of like rolls over. And nice.
I don't know which one you made stasis locked, so
We'll say okay. We'll say that there's the one that was gonna go towards Xanthus. That would be the easiest one.
okay. So he'll get advantage on pretty much anything he wants to do to it.
Okay. So that one's, but that's frozen in place, so we'll say it's up on the wall where it's stuck currently. All right. Is that it for you, Phoebe?
Mm-hmm.
Themisto.
Themisto is probably just going to attack. Nothing fancy right now.
Okay.
Or, I guess that I have, let's beef everybody else up. I have a lot of spells. So yes, Themisto is going to go ahead and just bless her 3 companions. A little, just a little shimmer. It's almost as if the light from Phoebe's actions is catching on her blade and sort of coalescing around it. And there's just that little glint, and as it catches each of her companion's eyes, they feel slightly inspired. So you have bless in that subtle, is it magic, is it not sort of way that the Mista likes to do.
Heck yeah. All
So
right.
have that D4, everybody. And am I close enough to... Well, I don't want Cleo to bite these things. She's not going to do the snake bite attack.
Yeah.
That's how you get listeria.
Okay. So you get blessed, everybody. Cool.
Mhm.
Then the next one is Laertes. What are you doing?
You said there's one nearish to me. Yeah,
within melee range at least.
Oh, within melee range. That's no, thank you.
They, with the slow, they still move 20 feet.
Okay, good time. Okay, because this is gonna hurt me.
Imagine if they had not.
And that's not even actually slow. That's the fun thing about it. Am I able to get some way of grouping them without entangling my group?
You're all standing close together, and you're all around everybody.
All right. Instead of trying to go for the one that's like right next to me, I am going to try and reach out to a different one.
Sure.
Actually, I'm going to do this for Xanthus because this would be easier for me to do. I'm going to try and hit the one that's stasis locked.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll be with advantage. Unnatural 20 is the first roll.
Definitely hits.
Yeah, that was 23 with the next one. But it's an 18 force damage as I try and just clutch out to it in the distance and rip and pull. And it's going to move 15 feet in the desired direction and not just 10 anymore. I'm going to try and slam it into the nearest creature if there's one within 15 feet.
Sure. So you're trying to grab one and slam it into the other one,
Mhm.
basically? Okay.
Gak on gak action.
How would you like to do this for this one?
Hey.
Does it slap both or does it just take out the one?
Well, does it need to make it? Well, it's just gonna say it hits the other one. I'm not gonna.
And it's good. I would say we would auto fail a dex because it's stasis locked at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
But I imagine it's near the one that's actually coming towards me,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and it's going to latch out to try and do its alien multi-bite attack thing,
Yeah.
and then it just sideswipes by its brethren, and this thing shatters against it
Nice.
into just gross, gacked up atoms.
The music was perfect. It like smacks it. You can just see it go. It splatters on the ground, and it looks like both of them have dispersed. But then the one still like forms back up from it. But the one that had been stasis locked is like
Gone.
It's been spread apart to where you can see the teeth and filament of it is just kind of scattered and spread. You can see part of a jaw that's just like
Part
tumbles
of that
around.
guy's teeth is just in the friend's skull kind of thing. Just
Yeah. It's pretty.
would it take even like a little bit of damage from that impact or no?
I'll knock off some, yeah.
Cool. That's just funny for me. There's not much else I can do All I can hope for is that now that I've taken care of one, Xanthus can spring forth as my burly protector and save me.
Help me! Help me! Okay.
Help me, I'm so glassy.
Okay. These things are. It's well. Themista, do you have the boy's turn?
He's. Oh, I could, yes. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
He's going to be last in the order because I rolled super duper low, sorry.
Okay, so
So-
the creatures go before him.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like a 6.
Oh yeah. Well, not by much. The creatures rolled an 8, so relatively close. All right. We're gonna say there'll be 2 attacks on Phoebe with this thing that's barely holding itself together, but it's still there nonetheless. It's going to be a 22 and a 19.
Yeah.
For a total of 18 piercing damage from both. Not like not 18 and 18, just totaled together.
Mm-hmm.
You see this thing as it as it rolls over and then starts biting at your ankles. The teeth grab on, and you can feel a secondary bite from within as it just like bite.
It is
bite,
alien.
bite. Yeah, it is. It is. I have a picture that I'll post in the thing afterwards.
I love how much Alien has been in this campaign. It's made me so happy.
You only thought this was ancient Greece.
Hey, I had a lot of influences from a lot of media growing up, so this all just fits well. Themisto, the one that is near you, make 2 attacks on you. That's going to be an unnatural 20 and a. Wow, why am I always rolling? These are like little nothings. 22 is for the next one, so both little.
Okay, well, it hits me, yes.
9 and.
Ay.
Yours will be 20 total in damage.
That is very painful.
It makes sense because it's like this little mouth that just like latches on, grabs, and then like starts to, like a dog with a toy, just like it just starts shaking its head back and forth.
It's like those
Yeah.
little weird monster things from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
The Misto shouts out in pain, but also in like anger, right?
Yeah, because it's just like, yeah, get
Phoebe's
off.
shouting out some choice words that would not have made the priest in Apollo happy.
I'm joining Hera's cult.
I'm just gonna put the art in the chat. I'm just calling them critters. All right. And then the one that was by Laertes. This was a
Oh, these things. These are fun.
yeah. Oh wow. For this is for Sonder.
This
who
is what's
always
gonna kill
says,
us.
This is for Sonder, who always says that the digital dice never roll well. I literally rolled a 24 and an unnatural 20 for these things. They're fast little buggers.
Hmm.
That is an 11 and a 9, so 20 points total of piercing damage is this thing also.
Oh no, those things.
Yes, I'm gonna be using some better quality healing spells.
I mean, they don't have a lot of hit points left, but man, when they hit, okay. Xanthus, I guess we'll have him. We're just gonna say he's gonna go after the one that was attacking, unless you have a specific action you want him to do, Themisto.
Xanthus is gonna. I would like him to like shout in Spartan that something is up.
Yeah.
And also, after doing that, he's almost certainly going to attack the one that's attacking Themisto, because that's what he would do.
Yep.
So-
Okay, go ahead and roll 3 attacks for him. He's gonna shout. Cypress, you and Davos immediately hear this like barking shout thing, and Davos's ears immediately perk back, and
Was I wrong?
without even saying a word to you, bolts back and around the house, grabs like dead
It's wrong again.
I'm assuming you go. You both
Oh, yeah.
will. I'm assuming run and dash.
Yeah.
Run and dash puts you out the back side of the house, and you can see that your friends are being assaulted by these black gooey monster things. That is.
It's like when you try to spray the wasp nest and they all just come for you instead.
Yes, just like that.
So I've got an 8, a 23, and a 19.
23 and 19 both hit, so you have 2 attacks that go in there.
Okay, so it's gonna be he ends up doing actually 15 damage, so not bad.
Okay. 15 total. He stabs at the creature multiple times. There's this thing looks
With his spear and shield.
Yeah. The spear like cuts off sections of it that like stick into the ground. It looks like it is definitely on its last legs also.
Good.
So you've done quite a bit of damage there. And then we're back to the top with Phoebe.
All right, I want to take my staff and I want to try to like smush it off my ankle.
Heck yeah. Make that attack.
Okay. 22.
22. That definitely hits. How would you like to do this? You don't have to roll damage because they had
literally
1
take
hit
it
point
and just,
left.
like, smash it down to the ground and just kind of twist it a little bit.
It's like, and he just hits it to the ground, and it like the staff goes all the way through, and you can hear the crunch. It gives in a weird way of like, you know when you like chew on cartilage. It's like it's crunchy, but it also gives at the same time. It just says
I don't
as
know
it
if I
like.
chew on cartilage very often.
Well, okay, fine, but you know what I mean. That's that same like giving like crunch sensation. It's not hard like bone, but it's not soft or fleshy either. Then the creature, like you can see a couple of the teeth still stuck to you as like it loses elasticity with the jaws, and there's just like a tooth that's just hanging on to like the little part of your flesh that you like kick it off.
All right, which ones are left?
There is one in front
Did the
of
one-
Laertes, and then there's the one that's in front of Themisto.
All right, let me go help Laertes since Xanthus is helping Themisto.
Okay.
Yes, I have 2 more hits. All right, let me come at my staff with this other one. Stay the dice tray.
I assume she's flanking at this point because this thing's probably just like on his arm.
Yeah,
He's
however
just-
you want.
That's a 17.
That hits.
11 points of bludgeoning damage.
That was a pretty good hit. It is looking really weak. Hit it one more time.
All right, I want to try to stomp on this with my foot. Stay in the dice tray. That's a natural 20.
Oh yeah. How would you like to do this?
So that's gonna be 15 points. Yeah, I'm just gonna like boot stomp this one into the ground with my little Grecian sandals.
You like there's this moment, Laertes, where her staff goes like slow motion, like whoosh. You can feel the air go past your face as you were kind of like trying to shake it off, and it just goes whack, and it just barely misses your arm, whacks it to the ground, and in a oh god, am I really gonna say this? And sticks the pole in the ground and like swings herself around it. In the first invention of the of a pole dance, it just goes around, smacks her sandaled foot down onto the creature, and stomps it. As it was like
This
trying to
doesn't
like.
know why, but this does something for her.
Phoebe,
I like the idea that this is happening in slow
could
motion.
you do that
She's-
again later?
Just like grabs it, swings around it, and then like as it's trying to like run away, she just like smashes it, and it goes and pops like a water balloon just on the
Well,
ground.
we covered this forbidden gusher. Um,
No, not a forbidden gusher. I hate
I like
that.
the
Well,
idea that she was going by in slow motion, like sort of like swing by the pole, but this slow motion wink.
Oh, it was
Stop.
definitely in slow motion, but let
Mhm.
me stop.
Beautiful. All right.
Baywatch murder
Um,
spree.
Themisto, what are you doing?
Well, there's one attacking me, right?
Yep.
Let's try to end this thing
Beautiful.
currently with my sword.
Do it.
Does a 15 hit it?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Sorry.
Does a 3 damage kill it? Hey!
I would have
yay!
laughed if he just said no.
I was, as soon as you said you laughed weakly, I was like, oh no, please be above a 3. Oh, nice. How would you like to do this?
Okay, so what? This thing, where's it attacking me?
We'll say that it is in the process. It had latched onto like calf and is now in the process of like climbing up your leg, and it's like trying to try and like bite its way into your thigh.
Okay, yeah, and Xanthus stabbed it a whole bunch of times, and so while it's like gnawing and swatting at him, Themisto's just gonna get in there with the short sword and like shish kebab it, essentially,
Nice.
right down like from what the only angle that she has on it, essentially.
It's almost
But-
like you're trying to sheath your sword, but there is no sheath.
exactly,
it's just, like,
but it's
goes straight
through
down.
the little creepy gnarly creature instead.
Beautiful. It strikes the thing and it like falls to the ground, and immediately starts to lose its elasticity as Cypress and Davos run around the corner, and like you can see Davos already like shield up, spear ready to like chunk, and
And whatever's left of the nest should still be on fire because anything that is flammable stays on fire with burning hands.
they were the nest.
Oh.
These things, the moment that you had struck
The
them,
whole thing like came apart.
it's just pieces of they were the clump.
I missed that.
There
That
are
is all
it
four?
is now on fire.
Good.
But that was all 4?
That was all 4.
Okay, so we're out of...
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that? Davos asks. What were those things?
You'll see Laertes had actually dropped to a knee after the creature had been removed like a bad tick. Blood down the arm, and he doesn't look great. But more importantly, Aaron, I like to think in that moment that active sonar ping was still going. Does he sense any of that on or in him now?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's good when the DM doesn't know.
I was also going to ask
no.
what the bite looks like.
It looks jagged and like a mouth within a mouth. You can see like the rows of the chompers, and then there's a smaller rows of chompers.
Creatures with a very nasty bite.
But no,
So there-
you don't
no,
sense
okay.
anything on you.
Mm-hmm.
You do sense that there was 5 and only 4 were attacked.
Okay.
There
So he had
is
a
a
direction.
off into the woods.
You'll see him.
How far is
and
this?
You said a mile, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
Or half a
Uh,
mile, maybe. Let me go back to my note. Because it's been a few weeks. Apologies.
Very good. Davos and actually Xanthus comes up to the Misto and puts a hand on your back. Are you okay?
Yeah, it got me pretty good, but
He goes
nothing
down
I
to
can't fix.
he goes down to one knee and starts to look at the wound. It doesn't look infected. It just looks like teeth
Thank
marks.
goodness.
Make an insight check for me, and then Laertes, go ahead. While the Misto.
Half a mile.
Half mile. Okay.
But
So
would I have gotten at least a sense of direction, not necessarily distance?
North
North. Okay.
into the woods.
He'll just be like cradling his rather trembling hand at this point, and just north. One more.
22 for insight.
22. He looks very serious.
Hmm.
He normally is serious, but this was businessy, kind of serious.
Yeah, I think the Mister's cottoned on to what's going on with him. S- hmm. Eh. I'll be okay. Today, anyway.
We still, Davos, we still have a few hours left before the night falls. Is everyone safe to travel, to continue forward?
I'd like to go a little bit north to make sure that that last one isn't causing more havoc.
I agree. If we have to chase it down, it's better that these things are not spreading around.
And be present for this one.
You had to make sure that Mal was going to be safe. It makes sense.
Phoebe will take a little strip of cloth and tie up her ankle.
It's like, here, everyone. It will take too long, so I'll just do one at a time. And
Laertes,
the
you lose sense
Misto
of it.
is. Huh? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish the Misto. I was just saying, Laertes, you lose the sense of it.
Shit. We don't have time.
Alright, let's move. And instead of doing any healing, we're just gonna charge. Heal later.
How long does this remain active?
You never gave me a timetable for it, so this is however you want to rule it.
Oh shoot!
But this is like gone off-road, like into woods.
It goes into the deeper woods. It goes away from the road. The road goes northwest. This was going north into the deep woods.
Do we really want to discover whatever other creatures might be off the road? I know we don't want these things to spread, but there's already half a mile into the woods.
I would say, Laertes, you know that at the pace that it was traveling, it was moving fast.
So we never would have caught up to it.
Unlikely. Not without some serious means of travel.
Maybe Phoebe dashing, but
Yeah. I will just be above the table. With its dash, it's 80 feet per round.
So I would be 3 rounds behind it.
If you had started immediately after.
Yeah.
I could make her go faster, but no. You see him kind of just sink a little bit. We won't catch up to it.
It's all right. We know. We've said before we can't stop everything. We've stopped what we could. We are on our way to face the greater problem that will keep things like this from happening.
You're right. You're right.
These are here because that is happening. She'll point up at the sun.
And you look in the directions of the woods, and it's much darker because of the woods. And it's probably about like,
Things are gathering
100, 200
because
feet out.
that is happening. If we stop that, we can go back and hunt things like this.
Themisto will light her incense on the censer ball on the chain on the end of her sword, and begin to swing it, and chant, not in a hushed tone, but low, speaking to Gaia and Apollo, and the familiar bees begin to swirl, just a few, maybe like 5 to 6 per person, coming and landing near the wounds and doing the little like bee ball hover where they like all shimmer their wings and heat up a little bit. And as they move over each individual, prayer of healing is cast, and everyone will take 2d8 plus 3 healing.
Nice.
2d8s.
Mhm. Okay. Good.
That's gross.
Are you
Didn't
rolling
do
for
so
us,
hot.
or do we need a roll?
Well, what I arrived at was a brain's working a little slow tonight. 14.
Sorry, you're rolling for us then? Because that is literally double what I rolled.
Oh,
Just leave it to the doctor, okay? I know you are a PhD. I am MD.
Because technically I rolled a 4 and then plus the 3.
Oof.
That was not a good time, folks.
Nice. You take a moment to bandage and get yourselves back together. Ma'al coming around from the front side of the house. It was just like, where did everybody go? And we'll say that as you hobble and then back to normal, walk your way back to the path. You travel the rest of the way without further incident.
are we able to find somewhere as the sun begins to set?
Make a survival check for me as you guys start to look for a place.
18.
Beautiful.
Good job.
As you were traveling, you run across another farm, also abandoned. And then what looks like a small collection of houses, partially ruined. Not quite like a whole farmstead, but this just looks like a, small settlement of a couple homes that were built together around some land. Some of them looks like there had been a fire. No signs of struggle. No blood. But there's definitely the sign that something happened here. And whatever was has now already left and moved on. Switch that.
We need to light the fire.
There,
43, it gets dark.
there is one of the
Ash.
buildings that is set into the side of the hill a little bit. There's only one entrance. And it seems like the safest bet for being able to watch anything that might try and come in. You set a fire there?
Does it have a fireplace, or do you just need to put one in the open?
There's a place for like a fire on the inside, but it's up to you if you want to. There is space if you want to place one closer to the door.
Do we want the light for us, or do we want the light to keep the darkness away?
Yes,
Both.
she said, find shelter and keep the fire lit.
Then we should do both these things.
Hmm.
If you all can do it, I will ask for some support too.
Out of character for Dreamy. When she has to light something on fire, is that a like cantrip or something higher?
No, it's 2 key points, but it's also 3d6 damage.
Okay. He can light a fire without you expending anything, in case you want to
Do you
hold
have
on
a
to it.
cantrip?
You'll get it back after
Hmm.
a short rest, though,
Hmm.
anyway.
We can't assume we're gonna get all our rests in.
Now,
Short rest is just 10 minutes.
I'll ask you this after the session. Never mind.
Okay. Okay. What were you gonna say, Themisto?
As the rest are building the fire, if nothing is about to imminently occur, Themisto will crouch down on the ground, and she's going to take the sleeve of her robe/dress, and she's going to take incense out of it that has already been burned out of her censer ball. She's going to smudge it on her fingers so it's dark, and she's going to smear it onto her dress, making some darkness in the otherwise kind of orangey color. And as it goes dark, she is going to say, Nix, Lady of Night. I know it's strange to hear from a priestess of Apollo, but we need your protection. If you remember me from our travel over the sea. And that's just gonna be her like little sending/prayer to Nyx.
Okay. Nice. Make a religion check for me.
Mm-hmm.
The fires, the light, both inside the hearth of the building and in the small little like campfire that you set by the door. On either side of the doorway, Xanthus and Davos perch themselves, down on one knee, shield in front, eyes facing outwards into the night that is quickly approaching. What'd you roll, Themisto?
You know, I've been rolling pretty low on a lot of things, but my insight and my religion, doing good still on that. Combat, not so much. Religion, I'm doing all right. That was a, let's see, 21 blackjack.
Nice. Okay. You hear her reply. I remember your name, Themisto. And I will do what I can. There is much that is happening in this world now. Many call my name this night. That's all she says.
Mm-hmm. I should have figured.
Well, I guess Davos Davos suggests they may be able to stay up for most of the night, though they will be tired the next day.
We can sleep in shifts here.
Make persuasion check.
Oh, that's real bad. 6.
Because she's trying to convince someone and it's in front of Laertes, she can re-roll that.
Hey.
A 13. Not great, but double.
I appreciate your offer, Lady Phoebe, but I must insist that you get sleep. If someone is to help. Theban, are you up to the challenge of a few hours?
What?
No offense, Lady Phoebe, but I trust his stamina over yours.
Cypress stares ahead.
Of all of you, he is the only one the closest trained for battle. You should be able to handle at least 2 to 3 hours of being awake in the middle of the night. We hope.
It sure should be.
Aaron, quick
Yeah.
question. Is the implication that the 2 Spartans are going to be sleeping at the same time and Cyprus is going to be awake? Is that the...
Something like that.
Okay. Oh, I can be awake as well.
We cannot ask that of you. You must get as much sleep as you can.
Mm.
You've al-
Academic life makes for long hours.
Yes, but academic life does not normally get bitten and ravaged on by creatures of the darkness.
It's becoming pretty regular.
He doesn't say anything, but they just stay focused on looking outside.
Mm.
Cypress, roll a perception check for me.
Oh no. Notoriously good rolls. 10.
Do it.
Beautiful.
Well, the good news is you don't see anything.
No.
What an easy
As-
night it is. It's
for-
so nice.
For the most part, as you guys start to settle in, you see how pitch black outside is. There are no stars. There is nothing beyond the... Under normal circumstances, there is a radius when it comes to like torches and light. There is bright light and then there is dim. The light only extends to the edges of what would normally be bright, and that is considered dim light. That is how intense the darkness is. Beyond that, it is pitch black. It is like there is a black fog that just encases the perimeter just outside the doorway. This tunnel-like this cone-like travel of light only goes a couple of feet beyond the doorway before it ends in nothing. At one point, Cypress, while you are awake, and we'll say that Laertes, even though you are told to sleep, well, I'm sure you and your stubbornness will lay awake in bed just to kind of watch.
Watching, going through his meditations, keeping an eye on the room.
Cypress, at the edges of that light, you hear the skittering of creatures. just outside of the range of light, you can hear the. It's like the little pitter patter of feet and the slight gooey sound of. As they like. The creatures that you can only imagine are like the ones that you had seen before. Keep to the shadows just outside. But they never cross the threshold of of firelight. You guys ever seen the movie Pitch Black?
Mm-hmm.
Cypress, I suggest.
I knew
you-
where this was going.
Cypress, I suggest you watch it.
I knew where this was going since last week.
You guys ever seen the movie Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
It's not like that at all.
Yes, the
and
monsters
two.
want to have a riff off.
You were singing Titanium.
Yeah. But morning comes. And with it, a hold on one second. Okay. The night comes to an end, and the day starts to rise again, with little to no true consequence.
That's alarming.
Aside from the lurking on the outside. Okay. All right. So, you continue on the rest of your journey.
Are those of us who slept considered to have had a long rest?
Correct. Everyone had a long rest.
Yeah, because we were doing it in shifts, as I understand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the boys would have taken a level of exhaustion, but they
Mm-hmm.
feel pretty confident in their abilities. However, I would have, because of Cypress allowing himself to stay awake for that little bit, it allowed them to get some needed sleep in that mess without upsetting the rest of the balance too much. You continue on your journey. This last day of travel is where things get, well, they already had taken a turn for bleak, but now you see more of the abandoned farms, some still smoldering in ruin. Occasionally you see strange bits left over on the road. A random sack of grain, an abandoned cart with no animals, a blown out torch. All seemingly dropped and forgotten. But something about it is haunting in the way that it is just simply left. And still this darkness pervades. You find yourselves within time seeing the city of Sparta spread out before you as you round the top of a hill. Ma'al, who has, at least especially this day, has been silent. She breathes a little bit of a sigh of relief as she puts a hand up on Laertes' shoulder.
We have made it at last. I never thought I would be grateful to see this city again.
She looks over at Davos and Xanthus.
No offense to you and your people, of course, but I found it a little bleak.
As you guys move over and down the road, you see that there is a sort of blockade that has been set up at the edges of the city gate, similar to what you had seen in Kaipantha, but there is definitely more security here at this city, as there is nearly half of a legion that seems to be surrounding this main entrance, allowing people to come in. You realize that there's not very many people that are leaving. One by one, people are
I'll just say
questioning.
let's hope Helena's contact meets us soon.
Ma'al asks you. She turns to you and is like,
Did her Lady of Secrets tell you by some chance who this person was that we were meeting?
No, she said that they would find us. I'm guessing like she did.
And did she say who it was? Who was it again that we were supposed to find here?
The Weaver's daughter,
Ah, yes. The Weaver's daughter, of course.
whose name I will have to practice before the next session.
Usurtkau. Yes. Sometimes it
I would never call her that.
of course not.
Of course not.
You guys start to get to the guard. The guards see that you are accompanied by two hobgoblin Spartans themselves.
By now, I've let the light drop on the staff.
Davos and Xanthus seem to be acting as honorary guard before Themisto. They get up to the line and tell the guards, "We are here to see the kings. We have brought a dignitary from the south. We seek passage through Sparta. But no doubt they wish to speak to a Pythia to be." The guards immediately look at you, Themisto, and everybody else, and they're just like, there's like a little bit of eye widening, like, oh, wow. And they let you pass.
Mr. stays standing straight.
And they let you pass. And you guys walk into the city. You walk into the. You've seen when you were in Kaipantha, there was a large amount of people that were kind of, you could tell, like refugees were here. Sparta is even more so, but you see an even larger military presence than any of the other cities you've seen before. You know that you have to find this Weaver's daughter, and you've probably only gotten a couple of blocks in before Ma'al stops. She looks around.
No, it can't be.
What is it?
I know that stench.
She slowly turns around, and a figure stands not but a few feet behind her. What does he say?
You're Surely Dionysus's latest vintage cannot be so displeasing to your nose, Ma'al.
Gods, this day could not get any worse, she says. And that is where we will end for tonight.
Hey!
I can't wait to meet our new friend next session.
I wonder who it could be.
Indeed, who could it be?
I'm detecting notes of Michigan and a long hair.
Bears in his driveway.
I guess you'll just have to wait and find out, but you won't get to see it next week. You'll have to wait until the beginning of August, August 6th, to be matter of fact.
That's weird.
It is. But it'll be worth the wait. And we'll see what mysteries Sparta has to offer us. But in the meantime, you know, all that jazz. Hold on, let me get to the appropriate goodbye music. There we go. Thank you guys for playing tonight. We will see you soon. Don't forget, next week, Wednesday, we will be having our first night of Vampire the Masquerade, Savannah by Night. Led from us our very own Laertes and crew. So come join us then, and we'll see you next time. So stay fey, be brave, bunny spread. The safe word is mango and a plethora of other things. Bye.
Bye, everyone.